Municipality of Mariveles, Bataan. Economic Natural Resources. Mariveles has a total land area of 15,300 hectares, representing 12% of the total land area of Bataan province. The Mariveles watershed is one of the three main watershed groups, with more than 100 rivers and tributaries. The watershed areas drain the province that serves irrigation, navigation, fishing, and water reservoir. It has mountainous terrain and dominated by Mount Mariveles. Agricultural resources of the municipality include rice, mangoes, legumes, vegetables, and coffee. It also has aquatic resources like round scad, grouper, mussel, and abalone. It has also mineral deposits of granite and basalt and forest products like vines and bamboo. Mariveles takes pride as the host of the very first economic zone in the country, the Bataan Economic Zone, formerly Bataan Export Processing Zone.
Current issues in terms of health. During the National Task Force against COVID-19 and coordinated operations to defeat the epidemic team visit in the province, Mayor Castañeda said that it is a challenge for the town to accommodate about 45,000 workers in the Freeport area of Bataan and to host 2 medical facilities in the midst of pandemic. Despite the challenges, she said that they immediately responded in order to contain the virus. In addition, they also implemented mass testing in public markets and among their dialysis patients. This is part of our Joint Operations Center for Action and Surveillance on COVID-19, the mayor said. To complement this, Castañeda said they are also set to launch the Mariveles Contra COVID-19, which is self-developed contact tracing application. To date, recoveries in the town totaled of 1,031 or 87.96% of the confirmed cases. The number of confirmed cases in the town translates to only about 0.85% of its total population. Current issues in terms of education. To support the education system despite the limitation brought by COVID-19, Mariveles Bataan Local Chief Executive announced that they will distribute 1,000 units of laptop for teachers and 6,300 units of tablets for grade 9 to 12 students for their online learning. Mayor Castañeda said that they also have prepared a facility for free Wi-Fi access to areas which are not usually reached by internet providers.
In terms of infrastructure, the plan to build a 32.15-kilometer interlink bridge between Bataan and Cavite is now undergoing re-evaluation to determine if the project is feasible for implementation. During the virtual media briefing, NEDA OIC's Undersecretary Jonathan Uy pointed out that first, they have to revalidate the demand for possible traffic of that bridge given the effects of the COVID-19. Second, he added that the cost of the project is quite huge relative to the budget envelope that the Public Works has. This is part of the government's Build, Build, Build program, starting from Barangay Alas Asin in Mariveles, Bataan, crossing Manila Bay and terminating in Barangay Timalan, Naik, Cavite. The present 5 hours travel time between the Bataan and Cavite provinces will be reduced to 20 to 30 minutes with 60 km/h speed with the Bataan-Cavite Interlink Bridge.
In terms of disaster preparedness, Mariveles Bataan advocates disaster preparedness through the Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office to advocate disaster preparedness by conducting various events and activities last July 2020 in line with observance of National Disaster Resilience Month with the theme Katatagan sa kalamidad ay makakamtan kapag sapat ang kaalaman sa kahandaan.
Based on how the LGUs responded to COVID-19 pandemic with initiative, intervention, and implementing proper protocol, the town of Mariveles was able to cope up in addressing the crisis. With the participation and help of the religious sector, private organizations, and national government, they were able to sustain and mobilize the needs of the community in reducing the cases of COVID-19. The LGU continued to support the education system of their municipality to ensure quality education despite the crisis and challenges brought by COVID-19 pandemic.
The municipality eagers to advocate disaster preparedness by conducting various events and activities in the community.
Hi, I am Miguel Panlilio and I will present you the province of Benguet. Benguet lies on top of Cordillera Mountains. Now, what makes Benguet province great? Let us start with Benguet's agriculture. Benguet is known as the salad bowl of the Philippines. It has the largest crop production in the region, having 65.1% in total crop production. The vegetables includes cabbage, potatoes, carrots, lettuce, and many more, together with the flowers and fruits. Beside from agriculture, mining is also a primary source of income among the people in Benguet, even before the American period. In fact, Benguet is one of the Philippines' top gold producer. Other mineral deposits are silver, copper, pyrite, and limestone. Silversmithing is also a common job in Benguet. Lastly, what makes Benguet famous? The answer is tourism. With Baguio City being the summer capital of the Philippines, many of the locals and foreigners visit the city all season. Mount Pulag and Mount Ulap are among the famous trekking sites in Benguet that will surely amaze your eyes. The strawberry farm in Benguet's capital, La Trinidad, along with colorful festivals like Panagbenga or the Flower Festival in Baguio, the mines and cave tours, the former US military bases, including Camp John Hay, and of course the Cannon Road, the steep and zigzag road you must cross to reach Baguio City. And don't forget about the various or many rice terraces all over Benguet. There are many things to see in Benguet. Some places in Benguet are even called as the Switzerland of the Philippines. With all the good things to experience in Benguet, there are ramifications that residents are facing. Number one is the congestion. Baguio City keeps developing, causing more population even without the tourists. Baguio City are experiencing an overpopulation that contributes to the pollution. Secondly, the inflation rate in the region were at 5.2% compared to the 1.9% on the previous year. Illegal mining is a problem in the region. Small-scale illegal mining can cause landslides that affects huge land areas. It is one of the reasons why there is a truck ban in Baguio City. No one in the region could forget the devastation caused by Typhoon Ompong, with 4.1 billion of damages, giving headache among the farmers and the miners. Forest fire are also a problem in the region. It could take hundreds of years for the burnt trees to heal or be replaced.
As of February 16, 2020, Benguet has a total of 4,436 COVID-19 cases with 4,108 recoveries, 266 active cases, and 62 deaths that largely affect their daily livings. Therefore, safety protocols are implemented to the Benguet province. In fact, tourists or people who came outside Baguio cannot enter without medical certificate to prevent the spreading of the virus. According to the survey conducted by the Hotel and Restaurant Association of Baguio, some 78% of the tourism-related establishments in the city were already heavily impacted, where more than 5,000 workers already lost their jobs.
Now, how did the province of Benguet respond to the problems? To retort with the pollution caused by overpopulation, a sanitary landfill in Itugon is proposed, and there is a plastic and styrofoam-free Baguio ordinance. It is doing well in reducing the non-biodegradable waste. The highlight in Benguet is the BLISDA, or Baguio, La Trinidad, Itugon, Sablan, Tuba and Tublay Development Authority. It is similar to the MMDA, or Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, that goals to manage and supervise the region's development planning, urban renewal, land use planning, housing and shelter formulation, transport and traffic management, flood control, health and sanitation, and the public safety. Before I say goodbye, did you know that there is an anti-profanity measure in the city of Baguio? So don't curse in Baguio.
Words fall out of my mouth, they drip to the ground and they don't make a sound. I try to sample them back to the place in my head, but I feel that I lie. The proper sleep that I need to narrate the same, to tire these things. The proper place for my thoughts, I know that I'm not, you know that I'm not. So getting transparent, I try, but I can't promise it. So tight, but I can't realize around the edges and down and out. No, I'm not. You can just let me down, but I'm not right. You can just let me
Maayong adlaw sa inyong tanan. Ako po ang inyong lingkod, Rica Shela Palma mula sa pangkad ng BSNPLE4C. Dali na, pagaobdan ninyo ako nga hibuloon ang ekonomiya sa lungsod sang City of Smile, Bacolod City. Kilala ang Bacolod City bilang City of Smile bangod sa giselebar kada buwan sang Oktubre, pero kabalo-bala ka mo kung diingin tawag ini nga Mascara Festival. Tungod sa ilangan na agya nga bahid sang politikal kag financial crisis, piling na kadekada ang nakaligad, nga puwerte ang pag-antos at nagpasubo sa mga Negrense. Kag para malimtan ang agyan nga kasubo ay ginhimo nila ang Mascara Festival. Nasubong ay 4 na kadekada kag isang tuig na nga ginaselebrar. It's 561,875 Negrenses in Bacolod City. It is the highly urbanized city in the Philippines and also the most populous city in Negros Island and second in Visayas Islands. There are 3 large universities and more than a dozen often specializing schools in various courses. So in this time of pandemic that we are facing, they are continue to maintain the learning standard to their student by doing the blended learning that the government has implemented. In fighting the world's pandemic or COVID-19, Bacolod City adopted the initiative of Cebu City called One Hospital Command Center that resulted in the congestions of hospital in the city, catering to patients who are infected with COVID-19 virus. Bacolod City was recently struck with massive flood by rainfall caused by low pressure area and combined effects of the tail end of the frontal system. So the City Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office set aside a 3.5 million budget to help the other cities and the Negrenses, Tagyao Negrenses. A pair of government buildings are set to rise in Bacolod City, showing that the public sector is also willing to invest in the City of Smile in addition to the private sector. The first Build project for Bacolod is the Bacolod Economic Highway, which is targeted for completion by the end of 2022, with a target budget of 5.8 billion. The project is a 21.8 kilometer 4-lane road, including 3 bridges and 2-way bike lane that will serve as an alternate circumferential road bypassing Bacolod Central Business District. Aside from City of Smile, Bacolod City is also known as Sugar Bowl of the Philippines because Bacolod City is the #1 or largest producer of sugar all over the country. And I'm glad to say that the economic status of Bacolod City are on its way to their recovery. The resumption of ferry services between the city of Bacolod City and Iloilo City are now operating. Traders also restart their trading activity considering the inter-province that actually contributes 20 to 30% of their local economy. And we knew that Bacolod City is also known as the #1 tourist spot here in the Philippines because of the ancestral houses from the prominent family back then. So the hotels and tourists are now accepting guests.